Welcome to the show, y'all. Welcome to the show. It is Thursday, August 25th. I remembered the date this time. I remembered it. Glorious. We're off to a great start today. The brain is functioning at least 27% of its capability, which is wonderful. So today, I got some juicy ones for you. I'm going to lead in just a second here with the deep state may be protecting Trump in the January 6th committee hearings. That is quite a bombshell, if you ask me. We have some detailed reporting from Ken Klippenstein of The Intercept. Again, we'll dive into that. I also have, holy cow, man, a Republican candidate is just openly saying, like, putting gay people to death? I mean, that seems like the right idea. That seems like the moral thing to do. I wish I was exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. Some old comments were dug up, and then homeboy doubled down on them today skis. It's 2022. I know how people on the right say, silly leftists sometimes use the year as an argument. Well, I hate to tell you, man. In this instance, that shit makes perfect sense. That's like game, set, match, bitch. It's 2022. We're talking about killing gay people? Okay, anyway. I also have a South Carolina Republican regretting his anti-abortion votes because of he's now realizing the impact that's having. And I got much more. A huge billionaire donor props up the entire Republican Party. I got some Gavin Newsom stuff. I got Liz Cheney's evil plan, which is kind of backfiring if I don't say so myself. So sit back, relax, take it easy, sip some lemonade or some vodka, whatever floats your boat, and we'll get it popping here. So this is in The Intercept. Ken Klippenstein, he tweeted this the other day and said, this should be a bigger story. And I'm here to tell you, Ken, yes, indeed, it should be a bigger story. So the headline is, DHS, so Department of Homeland Security, January 6th investigators raised alarm about being stonewalled last year. A trail of documents shows the DHS watchdog disclosed serious issues with records access in general terms in October 2021. Okay, so before we continue, let me just, I want to try to put this in layman's terms as much as possible for people. I don't want it to be all that confusing, even though aspects of this story are a little bit confusing because it gets very detailed. But there is basically a special investigator looking into the Department of Homeland Security over the January 6th stuff, and they need documents from them for the January 6th committee, and the investigators of the DHS are being stonewalled at every turn by the DHS, by the Secret Service. That's the gist of it. Okay, so here's what he says. Here are the specifics. After The Intercept broke the news that the Secret Service had deleted text messages from on and around January 6th. Is that suspicious? I wonder. I don't know. Is that suspicious? The Department of Homeland Security's watchdog came under fire for not having notified Congress that it had discovered the deletions sooner. So, look, already, let's just call it what it is. There appears to be a split in the deep state between the pro-Trump faction and the anti-Trump faction, and the pro-Trump faction still has some numbers. There's still a hefty chunk of them that are full-on MAGA. And this makes it clear. Top congressional Democrats have taken the extraordinary step of calling for DHS Inspector General Joseph Kufari's recusal from the January 6th investigation. Jesus Christ. Following reports that Kufari knew about the deleted text messages as early as May 2021, but didn't notify the committee investigating the insurrection until July 14th, 2022. On Monday, the Washington Post editorial board likewise called for his recusal, but documents obtained by The Intercept show that the DHS Office of Inspector General disclosed its access issues in general terms in semi-annual reports to Congress in September 2021 and March 2022, and also shared its issues with other inspectors general in October 2021. The reports were met with skepticism by President Joe Biden's Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, who appeared to make light of their seriousness. Meanwhile, oversight officials tasked with investigating January 6th are growing increasingly frustrated with what they say is the DHS agency's refusal to cooperate with the inquiry. While Congress's January 6th committee investigation has garnered the most media attention, parallel investigations into the raid of the Capitol are also being conducted by inspectors general at the Departments of Defense, Justice, and Interior. Inspectors general enjoy an array of tools, including criminal investigators, auditors, and forensics specialists, who are authorized to have timely access to all records relevant to IG responsibilities. Inspectors general are independent from the agencies in which they are embedded and cooperate with each other via the Council of the Inspectors General on Integrity and Efficiency, or CIGIE, SIGI. See, I know this is getting a little bit complicated, but I promise the gist of it you're going to understand. In the semi-annual report to Congress covering April 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2021, the DHS OIG describes the agency's lack of cooperation with its January 6th probe without getting into details. Quote, the department significantly delayed access to the Office of Inspectors General access to department records, the office writes, noting that it is required to disclose when that occurs, thereby impeding the progress of the OIG's review of the January 6th events at the Capitol. So look, this goes on to give more specifics, give more detail, give like a timeline of events and how it went down. But the basic takeaway here, the overarching narrative here to take away from this is there is a war internally among the deep state. And there are more pro-Trump factions there than you realize. And so in some ways, the Department of Homeland Security and the Secret Service are protecting Trump from the January 6th investigation by stymieing the release of certain documents and making it almost impossible for investigators to get their hands on certain things. And this is just further evidence to the thing we already saw, which they referenced in this article, which is a lot of Secret Service agents in and around January 6th deleting their text messages. Why are you deleting the text messages? Well, I mean, the most straightforward interpretation, an educated guess, is that some of the people were totally down for the cause. Some of the people may have helped orchestrate certain things behind the scenes. I mean, look, even the Capitol Police, while I'm sure most of them were genuinely trying to protect the building, keep it real. There were some, and we saw videos at the time of them letting in rioters, letting in insurrectionists, letting them into the Capitol, police officers on the side of them. And remember, a story that didn't get nearly enough attention, but it deserved all the attention in the world, was when Mike Pence, remember this? Mike Pence said when there was some Secret Service agent trying to get him to safety on the day that, you know, they were storming the Capitol and saying, hang Mike Pence. Mike Pence said, I'm not getting in that car. When a Secret Service agent opened a car door and said, get in, he said, I'm not getting in that car. Wow. So that means Mike Pence was fearing that Secret Service agents would what? Imprison him? Assassinate him? At the behest of Donald Trump? So what does Pence know about the Secret Service that we don't know? Well, the fact that they deleted their text messages is a massive hint, isn't it? The fact that, you know, elements in the Department of Homeland Security are not cooperating with the January 6th Commission, that's pretty telling, isn't it? So then, look, the question is, how deep does the rot go? Because I'll tell you, man, I mean, think about it in the context of the Hillary Clinton investigation by the FBI. You know, if I got the sense that there were elements of the FBI that were sort of pro-Hillary and skewing the facts and protecting her from real accountability, man, that would have pissed me off to the high heavens. And because it would have been a clear bias. It appears like that's exactly what's happening here with elements of the deep state and Donald Trump. The deep state is protecting Trump in this investigation. And this is such an important point because it totally flies in the narrative, in the face of the narrative that they are trying to establish. The right is trying to say, look, I don't know what you're talking about. Trump is the opponent of the deep state. Trump is fighting the deep state. He's fighting the elites. When nothing could be further from the truth. It appears like he's getting the elitist treatment. He is the elite. The deep state is protecting him. So, in other words, the conspiracy and the cabal is the exact opposite of how people on the right are portraying it. And this is even further evidence to those ends. Now, you guys should probably go read the whole article here from Ken Klippenstein, but I did give you the basic overview. This is a big deal. And this is I haven't heard anybody talk about this, which is why Ken was 100% right to tweet, like, this should be a bigger story. Nobody else talking about this. The deep state is protecting Donald Trump. Nobody else is talking about this. So, I don't know, man. You guys tell me. You guys tell me what the anti-establishment position is. Because, you know, I do find it weird that there was a chorus of people saying, like, well, actually, the FBI is bad. Okay, true. But when they're doing one of the only good things they've ever done, which is go after Donald Trump, that's a good thing. In the same way that I liked it when the FBI went after Hillary Clinton. That was a good thing. These are actual criminals. The FBI also went after the KKK and the Mafia. That was kind of base, too. Unfortunately, they go after left-wing groups all the time, as we know, and civil rights leaders and things of that nature. But when they do something good, let's say it's good. When they do something bad, let's say it's bad. And I'm sorry, but when you see, you know, attacks at this moment in this context against the FBI, it almost seems like when the cops arrested Harvey Weinstein, people saying, well, actually, the cops are really bad. Okay, are they bad while they're arresting Harvey Weinstein? Because it sounds like you're sort of running interference for Harvey Weinstein if you make that point in that context, doesn't it? So, but look, bottom line, I'll reiterate it one last time here. There is a war in the deep state. There are elements and factions of the deep state trying to protect Donald Trump. And now there's even more evidence to that effect than I've ever seen before. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.